We dug around in the refrigerator, in the freezer. We thawed some chicken out. These are chicken thighs. You could very well use chicken breasts. Use whatever you want to use. Now always, always, always save your chicken broth. And when you're making a soup or chicken and dumplings, and this is about, I'd say probably about 8 cups to start with. Anytime that you're making any kind of chicken soup or chicken dumplings, if you don't have boiled down chicken parts, it's not going to be as good.
Right.
So let's get this started. And what I'm going to do to begin with is we're going to take about 4 thighs.
Those are bone in, aren't they?
Those are bone in. There's a lot of fat on these, but it's good fat. And think about when you get a little sore throat or you're starting to feel just a little bit puny, this will cure you.
That's right.
Many times. So we got digging around and said, what kind of noodles do you want? And you said, make an Orzo soup.
Love Orzo.
A chicken Orzo, mushroom, lemon,
Leek.
joy with the leeks. Now, normally we would use onions, but the leeks have such a mild, it's hard to explain. We're going to use leeks and fennel. I'm still on my fennel cube.
That's right.
We're going to get this boiling, then we're going to come over here and we're going to start with some, as my grandfather would have called it, olive oil.
That's right.
And what we're going to do, if you'll cut me some celery and some carrots.
Well, and you want this on low?
Yes, please. Oh, look here, what do you have here? Oh, what is that on those leeks? Is that dirt? Yep.
It's fresh out of the ground.
Fresh out the ground. So we got these not too long ago at the store. They're fresh, they're organic. And yep, they got dirt on them. That's why we're cutting them over here on this plastic deal.
Let me go ahead and cut your celery.
Yes, please. Now we're gonna use maybe 2 sticks of celery.
Okay.
And I'm gonna peel out this outer, just the outer edges. Leeks, to me, are one of the most underused. I used to use them a lot. So I got my little dirty cutting board over here. I'm gonna cut it up to where I about need it. So now I'm gonna rinse these guys off. Basically, you wanna cut them lengthwise down the middle, then cut them up. Instead of onions, it's leeks. Now I used to use a whole lot of leeks in my wild game cooking on Kentucky field.
Leeks are delicious.
Aren't they though?
Yeah, they really are.
It's one of those things that you forget about. But Nikki, if you want to go ahead and pop all that stuff in, let's get that going.
All right.
Into our olive oil.
Yummy.
Now there are going to be a lot of flavors in this soup. So now something else I'm going to do is cut my fennel. Now fennel is going to add a little bit of sweet. I like a little bit of sweet in my chicken soup. It's kind of a salty, brothy, beautiful thing. So I'm going to come in. This is a tiny little fennel bulb, but I'm going to use 2 of them. We're getting rid of a bunch of stuff here. We need. It's right on the edge of going bad anyway. I love the flavor that it gives. I love the texture that it has. There's going to be a lot of flavors here in this soup. There's going to be a lot of vegetable material in this soup. It's not just going to be chicken and broth. And there's going to be some subtle flavors that kind of really go well with each other. And you may say, why so many flavors? Try it first. And I think you'll see why.
Smelling pretty good in here.
Now look at that beautiful, beautiful mixture. And some beautiful shiitake mushrooms.
And it smells amazing.
So look what we have.
Okay.
We got a beautiful start. Now during this process, we're going to use some dry basil, dillweed, thyme, Tellicherry pepper. That's some of the things you're going to need for this recipe to make it really good. All right, so look at what we've got here. And the smell in this kitchen is kind of tremendous.
Oh yeah.
So at the end of this, we'll touch on this again, and this is completely up to you. But a lot of times at the end, somebody will put some dry parsley in their soup, or even some fresh parsley. You know what I've been doing since I met Raoul?
What have you been doing?
26,000 years ago. Every time he would put in his soup something that looked like parsley, it was basil.
Oh wow, yeah.
What does basil do to a chicken soup base? It gives you that sweetness that goes so well with the fennel and the leeks, and it gives it a beautiful sweet taste. Parsley, it's just kind of sitting there looking at you. Sometimes tasting like cardboard.
Okay.
That's just my choice. So here's where we stand. This chicken's getting close. We're gonna let this go till it's almost ready to go. Now all that fat is gonna add so much taste to this in the end. All right, so I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna leave this on simmer. And I'm gonna hand you some beautiful pieces of chicken. We're gonna take the hide off of them, the bones out, and cut that up into little soup bite pieces.
Ooh. Yummy.
You know where this movie's going, don't you?
I do.
Okay, I don't see a whole lot of anything that we're gonna have to skim out of there. It's pretty
Yum.
clean looking stuff going on there. So if we'll dump this into here, I just love looking at that. Look at that.
I do too. Isn't it
Look
pretty?
at that. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yum.
Now you see, we're not gonna have just a bunch of chicken and a bunch of pasta floating around. We're gonna have beautiful, wonderful tastes that really go well together. It's kind of a complex thing going on here. Something we have to do right off the bat. Now this is you and me. We like pepper.
Yes, we do.
So
Lots of
open your
pepper.
sinuses up in the wintertime. This is our Tellicherry pepper. So right now already, now that that's moving around together, you smell it.
Mm-hmm. I do.
That broth boiled down over the time that was cooking. So I'm going to add 2 more cups of water. You might need more, you might need less, depending on you. And I tell you what, if you want to, let's go ahead and take at least, let's use most of the juice out of that, because the acid of the lemon, along with the sweet vegetables,
Oh, yeah.
is just so magic. Your mother, here's a little clip of your mother making a lemon chicken soup.
That's the Greek.
Following a Greek recipe.
Yes.
That was beautiful. This is a little more in-depth than that, a little more ingredients, but that was a simple thing of beauty.
Oh, yeah. So we want this whole lemon, right?
Let's use most of it.
I think so. I like that. I like the lemon flavor.
So, you know, everything I do harkens back to those who came before, people that I watched and trusted and observed. And Raul, pictured here, this beautiful man who had a restaurant in Casablanca. I didn't know, for years I knew him and talked to him, and he was so humble that not until later on in his life did he let me know that he had a huge restaurant in Casablanca, cooked for movie stars, King of Morocco. I'll never be another one like him, never be another one like him. So something else that he did, which I have done, he said it was cheating, but it's a good kind of cheating.
Oh, I think so.
Take you some bouillon and put in there. Take you some chicken bouillon. There's all kinds of different stuff out there on the market. Just some basic chicken bouillon. That gets that stocky thing going. Add some salt. All right, we're gonna make a little bouquet garni here. We're gonna take some fresh basil, some thyme. I'm gonna put those bay leaves right in the middle. That may keep it together. Just a little butcher twine. So we got thyme, basil, and some bay leaf in there. Now, you may say, a lot of people may say, that's too many flavors. Here we go.
Yummy.
We're gonna also do some dry basil. It's a beautiful thing, as much as you want, and I'm gonna put probably a teaspoon at least in there. Now, one thing that when I watched Raul cook, I was just kind of knocked out. Didn't matter who was around, what was going on, he would taste and he'd use the same spoon and go back in. This is boiling. It's gonna kill anything. We eat it sometimes one time back in the 80s, we kissed each other right on the lips.
No way. You shouldn't
Remember
tell
that?
people. Don't tell people that.
So anyhow, we're eating after each other and we don't really care. This is a rated G show, should I have said that?
Yes, you should.
Okay. So don't be afraid to taste as you go along.
How is it?
You can tell we're getting there. Here's the thing. I'm gonna put some more, I'm gonna put the rest of that bouillon in here. I want that stocky flavor. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt. You couldn't put stuff in, but you sure can't take it out. So taste as you go along.
Do you want me to start working on your chicken?
Yes, please. Once we get the chicken cut up in here, it needs to cook for about 25 minutes. Everything's done. The vegetables are sauteed. It's gonna soften them up just a little bit more. All right, this is a joint effort here. I'm just gonna take this meat and I'm gonna dump it in here. We like our chicken soup with lots of things in it. Here's a little bit of magic. he would always take a French liqueur. It's got a little sweet in it. That's probably a tablespoon and a half. Our thing now is Orzo.
That's a cup I put there.
That's a cup. So that's going to take about 8 minutes, and that's about right where we are. We're just going to mix that up. Let that little pasta. This is nice. It's like, you know, it's like if you don't have rice and you got Orzo.
Orzo's so good.
You got something special.
Yes.
Let it get some of that moisture in there. Swell it up just a little bit. Okay, so now, Grandma Solomon's
Ladle.
ladle.
Isn't that nice?
Look how thick that is. Now I did that on purpose, just to show you how much.
Oh, yeah. I already know this is so good.
It's got a deep, brothy, rich taste.
That is so
And all
good.
those combinations. You don't have the onion taste as much this time. You've got the leeks, which are sweeter and more mild.
I like the Orzo better than rice or any kind of noodle. Those are, oof, oof.
Then you've got that kind of, I tell you what, let it be your secret weapon. Don't tell anybody. Just use it a little bit of anise liqueur or fennel liqueur, and then let it be your secret weapon. A lot of times you go to a really good restaurant and you get some mussels that have that liqueur
Oh, yeah.
and butter.